Hello, welcome back. Oh, excuse me, to Otherworld Connections. Yes, indeed. You're tuned into Revolution.radio, the world's #1 listener-supported radio station. And today I'm going to do some dowsing and some card readings because me like that and me think it's fun. That's why I'm doing it. And that's fun is a 3-letter word, and I can do it. It works well enough. So if you have any questions or anything like that, any issues that you need help with resolving, well, it may be a bit forward, but the solutions and the answers don't come from me. They come from elsewhere. And that all came about through just being a crazy lunatic and quitting whatever lousy job that I had for an even lousier job, going and working with young children as an unqualified early childhood teacher in the year 2014. I did that for 5 years, and I just decided I would put my mind, my heart, and my soul to working for better outcomes for the kids. And I was kind of freaking out, going down the rabbit hole about, and the truth movement and the truth about things. And I thought, what about the children? They're abandoned and da-da-da. And, so that paid off in a kind of, in a cursed kind of way. No, in a blessed way. I'm blessed to be here. And, so just a hello to Eagle Flower, Monster 383, and Comet, all in the chat on the Discord. Yeah, something with the intro, but that's not to worry. Yeah, so my intro is a little bit cursed. Maybe because when I hear it, I feel like I don't like it and I want to do a different one. Maybe I should think better of that. So yes, where was I? Yes, this is Revolution Radio. And I'm streaming live to YouTube as well, believe it or not. Because, I don't know, that's what people do. Can't stream to Odyssey because you need a certain number of tokens to be able to do that. So interestingly, I tried streaming to YouTube when I wasn't allowed. And then I gave up, but that time you could stream through Odyssey, and then now the roles are reversed. So please, anyway, consider donating to Revolution.radio because it's listener supported. And if you're listening, well, that's you. So, and I always forget, you were just listening to The New American Dream, hosted by Chuck Gregory, and you can catch him on Thursdays, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Studio A here on Revolution Radio. Consider donating to the station through Patreon, okay, or through snail mail. Checks and money orders are made payable to Revolution Radio, and they are posted to, well, the address is on the website. Assuming you have your computer. If you have a computer, if you're using snail mail, bring back snail mail. But bring back honesty at the same time, please. Direct payment. The station's credit union's online banking system called Autobooks enables a supporter to donate direct to the station. I've got Julia coming into the room now. Just one moment. Yes, Julia.
You are not on the radio.
I'm not on the radio. I'm not on Revolution.radio. I'm just going to assume I'm on Discord. I'm on YouTube.
Yes.
I don't want to say that's the main thing because it shouldn't be the main thing, but maybe I have to, when things don't go well, say.
Look at the chat. I don't know.
Yeah, so, well, let's finish this advertisement off for Revolution.radio that I'm not coming through on. Snail mail, direct payment. The station's credit union's online banking system called Autobooks is an option restricted to the United States and Canada only, And cryptocurrency, dude. The station accepts support via cryptocurrency options. The currently accepted cryptocurrencies are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash, and are accessible via the station's dedicated donations page and the homepage. Our donor box. It's an international alternative to PayPal. Oh, it's a public service announcement, isn't it? I just realized that I probably go on a bit deeply about this. Advertising on the homepage. For a paltry sum of $25 a month, you can advertise whatever the heck you want because free speech reasons. Okay? That's pretty cheap. Yeah. So just a little insider baseball. My show is muted. My show is muted. Silence. Yeah. Oh, I unmuted and then I remuted myself. Well, to the three of you that were trying to listen and didn't hear anything, my apologies. I'm here now. All I've done is a service announcement. Please consider donating to Revolution Radio. That's all I got to say. And thank you for sound checking me, you guys. Yeah, I've got 100 windows open and still under the weather and excuses. And then the other thing is, to have this set up properly, is I can hear myself. YouTube can hear me, and then I feel like I'm in the clear, but I'm not. And then when I'm set up and I'm ready to go, I mute everything because I don't want you guys to hear me burping and sniffing and coughing because I'm, even though you're hearing it now. And then it all catches up. So anyway, Julia can hear me now. Yes, because I was muted on somewhere. All right. I'll change the name of the show to Gino and his microphone. Is it on? All right. So yes, in a nutshell, I've just been blabbering on about donating to Revolution Radio. I do the extended promotion of considering to donate. I go through all the options. That's what we do. So, because it's listener supported. Now I'm getting out the magical card deck. The Dowsing cards for general testing. Cartas radiestéticas. These are radiesthesia cards where I just shuffle them like an oracle card or a tarot deck, and they might have prompts on them that you douse. And we're just doing a general reading by request from somebody last week who suggested that it might be better if I just do a general reading and see where that takes me. So I just pull out a card and we go from there. And yeah. So yes, I was muted for a few minutes there. Keep you all guessing. Keep poor Monster 383 and Comet scratching their heads going, oh no, what have we done? What have we done now? No, it's usually me. It's usually me. But it's all your fault. No, I'm just kidding. Shuffling. No cards popping out. I shuffle until a card presents itself. Oh gosh, what is this one here? So yeah, I think I'm sharing the screen on Discord. Alright, so this card is, I'm just checking that my screen is shared. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Sharing the old screen there. That's pretty cool. Structure of oppression. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it funny how often this card comes up? If you've followed any of the readings that I've done on any of my shows or any of the, 3 lives that I've done so far, boy, this one comes up all the time. Because we live in a structure of oppression. No. Okay. So this is going to be dealing with a certain structure of oppression. Do we need to know exactly which one it is now? No. Okay. On to the next card. That should possibly explain. So you find with these cards, as I do often say, is you're going to find that it's dealing with, things that we can't see, frequencies, energies that we can't see that affect us. And we get advice on how to work with them or how to deal with them. And according to these cards, some of these energies are oppressive structures. Okay, so it's a mental structure of oppression. It is denial, self-denial. Self-defeat. Well, we could do a whole show on self-defeating behavior. I'll be honest, I'll say that's what I was diagnosed with many a moon ago. Self-defeating personality disorder, which, if you demedicalize that term, it's really like echoism, as in victim of narcissist abuse. Poor me. Oh, I don't really buy too much into all that sort of stuff, but my point of my story is that that's what I was diagnosed with. And it comes down to, I think, first off, I think a lot of people have it. It's not common. It's actually been removed from the medical journal, the DSM, whatever number they're up to, DSM-6, whatever the heck. Why? Because people with a self-defeating personality disorder aren't going to go and do something to help themselves, because that wouldn't be self-defeating, would it? So I don't know how the heck I got myself moving along with that, but there you go. And after all these years and through all the stuff that I've been doing with Otherworld Connections, it comes down really to abandonment. And we all have to deal with, we all have issues with abandonment. Parental abandonment in the early years. Here we go. This is why. Look. Relationships. And I feel like the cards are prompting me to just talk about this, and that's what we shall do. So a structure of oppression, and the structure is literally brain structure, guys. Compartmentalization. Self-denial. Because of relationships in the early years. So we are abandoned in to varying degrees. I mean, abandonment is always going to be a thing. I talk about the bond that a 2.5, 3-year-old must have, a religious type bond, the kind of bond that a parishioner would have with his or her priest, a religious bind, a religious tie between an elder figure. A lot of people don't get that, and that's how and the world that we live in as adults is set up to take advantage of that binding in childhood that we are really prevented from doing. Okay, so I've got a Dowsing card out here. I just pulled this card. Oh no, it's number 54. It's others. Okay, so is this just to do with other people? Yes, but let's go to the PDF. Let's go to the PDF. Pura Presencia Dowsing Cards. Created by Barbara Meneses. I keep saying I got an email. Like, obviously I don't really know her. But I just always wonder, like, you know, ever the pessimist, I just wonder how many, you know, I guess, how many decks of cards she's sold. I don't know. I think she'd probably like to know that I use her cards quite heavily on this show. And I think she's on YouTube too. Barbara Meneses. A lovely lady. Very much against the narrative, which I was surprised about. I was surprised. I just want to organize this thing. Yeah, there's that. He is sharing a live stream of himself somehow. Very cool. That's Monster383. Hey, that's thanks to you. Monster, that's your fault. Oh. Only 100 windows, you lazy. Gino has this dialed in now with OBS, I think. Has streaming himself. He's streaming himself. That's right. That's thanks to Monsters Help and Support. So, yeah, again, I got to say, please do consider donating to Revolution.radio. Comet, Monster 383. Like Monster 383 seems to be working especially hard on the tech side. I mean, obviously, Comet and Willow. And, there's David as well. I haven't met David, but, I mean, you guys and gals all work so hard to get this going. I just would like, to see money come in. And, you know, a little bit of remuneration for you guys would be cool. Yeah. Posters live stream in here. Yeah, the link to the live stream, Eagle Flower, should be, if I did it correctly, on the Revolution Radio chat room. That's where that's where we are now. So if you scroll up, you click on the YouTube link. But I'm not much to look at, Diane, so I wouldn't even bother. It's Mitchell. Yes, of course, Mitchell. Yeah. Comet, Willow, Monster 383, Mitchell. Just honestly, thank you guys. Like, I mean, you know, I'm sharing a live stream, and Monster, you really did help. You walked me through that, and you took about, I don't know, half an hour of your time. But there are, 70, 80 hosts on Revolution.radio? That's a lot of half hours. And it's not the end of it. It's not the end. There'll be many more half hours to come. Hundreds, thousands of windows. Oh, dear. All right. Yeah, so the link should be in the Revolution Radio chat room. Yeah. And also, if you just go to, I don't know, Studio A watch, Studio A listen, and then there should be my mug there as well. Yeah, will be interesting to see if that actually works. Yeah. So Studio A, there I am. Okay. Others. That was the card. Okay, let's see what The flip-flop is going on with others. This card tells us that nothing selected in the previous 53 cards is what we must work on now. And we have to continue deleting all my work. We have to continue asking to see what other underlying issue or problem not mentioned in the previous cards is affecting us, the client. It is a complicated card to draw because we have to squeeze our brains a little more. Courage and keep looking for the answer. Okay, any more cards to do? Is this to do with self-denial still? Yes. Okay, so everything I talked about obviously is like typical. Typical is the word. Self-defeating through abandonment. I do just want to finish that little thing I'm waxing on, even though this card keeps slapping me in the face. Others telling me to shut up. But I do want to say I'm probably being self-defeating here because I'm determined to say it. That the self-defeating behaviors are a protection mechanism to prevent you from becoming more hurt and abandoned and devastated and all those things, to prevent you from the potential worse outcome by creating a less worse outcome. So, abandoning relationships, abandoning people, abandoning projects, tasks, jobs, anything when you see like a potential threat to just go, hey, we're just gonna be a letdown now, so I'm not let down in a bigger way further down the track. So yeah, it's pretty not good. And that sort of it's mental and it's spiritual is what I'm saying. So yes. Okay, so now I've got to find, and the cool thing about these cards is we've got to find something that's a little bit off the beaten path that can be addressed like a simple solution is what I'm trying to say. Oh, stuttering. Yeah, a simple solution. Without having to get all, without having to do like 20 years of talk therapy or read 100 books on Jungian psychology and so on and so forth. Although I will say, emotional freedom technique, the tapping, I know I go on about that, but boy, oh boy, is it fantastic. Check out Tapping with Brad on YouTube. Any little nitpicky issue, first off, is just being aware. Okay, why do I always do this when this happens? Or why can't I just manage to feel like this when this happens? You can, and you can tap it. That's the best I can say about that. Okay, should I take another card? No. Okay. There's something else I should do. Yes, there's something else I should do. I should make this show more exciting. Exciting. Oh my gosh. And we've got Jerry entered the chat. For all I know, it was a long time ago. But, hey Jerry. How are ya? Oh, that's sweet. Oh, I feel a sense of belonging here today. Thank you to Jerry, Eagle Flower, Monster 383. And Comet is around, I know. He's a busy boy at the moment. Oh, thanks, guys. Okay, so what the heck are we doing? Any more cards? Okay, we're looking for a solution anyway to deal with self-denial Yeah. We're trying to make ourselves more self-promoting, self-positive, self-worthy, instead of self-defeating and I guess disrespecting ourselves. Okay, so that's an issue that everyone that's alive has to deal with. Okay, and we all have problems with that to varying degrees based on, well, the world structure of oppression that we live in. And then perhaps an inherited structure of oppression based on where the human race came from, theoretically. Were we abandoned by some gene splicing aliens as some genetic mutation mistake and just left to rot on this planet? Maybe. Nevertheless, self-defeating behavior, lack of self-respect, this kind of thing is an issue that we have to go through without having to really go too far down a rabbit hole as to why or where that came from previous to recent history. Okay, now I'm running around in circles. I'm a little bit stuck. Okay, we're going to spell it out on the keyboard. We're spelling it out on the keyboard. That's it. I need a keyboard cam so you guys can see. Everything I'm doing now, like I'm a freak. I do this all the time. Guys. I have a dowsing session every day. I often douse when I go to the supermarket if I forget the shopping list and I don't know what to get. My brain's not working. And yes, people do stare at the freak show in the supermarket with the pendulum. Chooses some nice fruit. There's nothing worse than going to the supermarket and buying fresh fruit that looks good, and then you open it up and inside is just disgustingness. Nothing worse than that. I've talked to people in the supermarket about it. We live in a rural area and everybody says, oh, that's all right, it's food for the chickens. And I think, no, it's not all right. It's not all right. But chickens are really lovely, and I suppose if you have chickens, you love them, and then you think, oh, I hope that they get some yummy food from the food that I was meant to have for myself. Anyway, chicken symbolism in small towns. It's a big thing for family, community, connectedness, socialization, and a sense of belonging, and a sense of like homely abundance. Everything that you kind of wish for when you kind of get out of the rat race can be symbolized by a little chicky wicky. Oh, don't we love chickens? Okay, we've got the letter O. We got the letter R. Are you spelling orange? Yes. Oh my goodness. So we're talking about color. Color therapy. Yeah. I don't know why. I feel a bit like color therapy comes up all the time. And I do it, but I don't do it ceremoniously. Okay, my screensaver, let's put it this way. As someone who has allegedly you be the judge, self-defeating personality disorder, I've put my screensaver, my desktop, my computer background as literally like candy orange, bright orange. As in when I minimize the screen here, it's like, my eyes! My eyes! It's like bright orange. Like if you came over and had a look at this, maybe I should share it. It's just bright orange. It's just bright orange. It's unbelievable. And elderly man round the corner, he painted his house. this same color orange. Literally Lego brick orange. If you went to a preschool and said, right, kids, can I get an orange pen or crayon? It's that orange. More orange than an orange fruit. Old man round the corner painted his house orange. And the town is not happy. The town is not happy. And I look at it and I think, that is like a house that if a 3-year-old held on to his dream of the house he wanted, the color house he wanted, and he held on to that dream and he made it a reality. And because of that, I like it, because every time I see that house, I think somebody really is living their dream. That's what I think when I see it. Is any of that true? I don't know, but that's what I think when I see it. What are the rules on painting and decorating in your area? In probably one of the most salubrious parts of Auckland City, Devonport, on the north shore of Auckland, in New Zealand, the North Island, you're only allowed to paint your house a certain number of colours. And I'm pretty sure they're all different variations of off-white. So essentially every house looks the same. They look gorgeous. They do look great. But you're not allowed to just rock up into old Devo, mate, and just paint whatever blimmin' paint that you got from down at the recycling shop. You have to cross a few T's and dot a few I's. So, that being said, colour is obviously something we take for granted. It's important, okay? For lack of a better term. It has spiritual and energetic value. So, the colour orange, very important. So what are we thinking? We thinking clothing? No. We're thinking screensaver, background on the computer? Yes. Okay. There we go. Are we talking anything else? No, we're talking like actual fruit, food, orange coloured fruits and vegetables? No. Okay. So we're moving on to the next card. Yes. Is it still on the same topic? Yes. Okay. So, the colour orange. Looking at the colour orange promotes self-promoting thoughts, self-promoting mindset. Pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. So yeah, shuffly, shuffly, shuffly. Yeah, so streaming through OBS, going on to Discord. Unless I forget the mute, the mute button on Discord. I had unmuted a different screen on Discord, which obviously had no effect. Using voice meter to send my audio through to Discord, so there's not a delay in the microphone from the video. I don't know if that's overcooking it, but the point of the story is it's going from OBS to YouTube. Mic and video through OBS to YouTube. Mic going through to Discord. And sharing screen on Discord. Treating Discord like audio that happens to have a share screen function. Why am I telling you that? Well, I'm just sharing the journey. And if you are listening, you might be a host on Revolution Radio. You may want to know how that all works. Well, hit up Monster 383. No, you can hit me up and I can, well, I wouldn't say help, but I can share. I can share what I do. That's what I can do. But the big problem is, as someone who studied audio engineering, is with the internet, being able to hear yourself and transmit what you're saying. What am I trying to say? The biggest problem on the internet is you talking and other people being able to hear you, but it's not at the same time. That's the problem. And the problem that goes bigger than that is when you speak, being able to hear yourself at the same time as you normally speak. The most basic solution to that is to not wear your headphones and just talk into the mic and just hear yourself naturally like you're talking. Because if it's talkback radio, you don't obviously need to hear anything, and you just keep your eye on the time. And then when it comes to 27 minutes past for the ad break, or 57 minutes past for the end of the show, then you just have to say, hey, listen, guys, we're coming up. And if there's a little bit of dead air, oh well. But then the other thing is having some kind of software on your computer so that the microphone goes through and you can listen to the microphone sound from your computer. So it hasn't traveled all the way to the internet land and back. It's just traveled to your computer and back to your ears. And so you can hear yourself. And what you hear is what's being sent. But it's not what's already been sent. And that is the problem with live radio and video on the internet. Does that make sense? I bet Gino would teach you for a small fee, of course. That cheap bloody... Or a couple of schmeckles. Well, that's the thing. I think Comet and Monster 383 should be getting paid. Willow should be getting paid. Mitchell should be getting paid. I think if it is, if like listeners do support, because you know I donated $10 when I actually had $10 and I donated it. And then I went back and had a look, and my name was still pretty high up on the list, and that was a while ago, guys. I just hope that money's coming through, and then I hope it's in surplus so that you guys get some, because you do. Well, I don't know. Eagle Flowers said it might be good to have an informal meeting with those adept and see how they might offer suggestions to the stations and hosts. To the station and hosts. Well, yeah, I don't know if I'll be invited because I'm not adept. I did sound engineering ages ago, and it's like a hobby. I got my little recording studio in the background. That is a fake wall. Like if a building inspector came in here, this room would be literally condemned. And being at the very tail end of the Pacific Ring of Fire, I could end up a meme, or I could end up on Fail Blog. I shouldn't even think like that. But yeah, there's a partition wall behind me on the other side. It's a little miniature studio. And I finally just about finished setting it up. And I spent so much time on that I can't play guitar well anymore. So I just go in there and look at my guitar and go, oh man, how am I supposed to do that? But yeah, I'm being super informal, you guys. I mean, it's probably getting close to your guys' bedtime, and I just thought the last couple of weeks, I just want to relax and enjoy a little bit, you know. That's it. It's pretty unprofesh, but I don't know. Just trying to be myself. And see where that goes. Ordinarily, I'd be reading books and taking notes and bookmarking things and trying to make it a kind of presentation and wow. And then I kind of think, well, I don't know. Do I have to teach anybody anything? Am I that kind of person? Should I just be me? Look at that. And this is all kind of related to it, right? So we've finally, this whole time, guys, I've been shuffling, and this card finally came out. Limiting belief. Okay, is this dealing with limiting beliefs in general? Is it to deal with a particular limiting belief? Do we need to know what that is? Should we take another card to find out? Yes, we shall. Do I have any cool dowsing stories? Once I did this weird thing where I was going around, like I was moving stones, like I was in the city and in the, sort of urban residential areas. And I was picking up stones and moving them and putting them in, basically, the pendulum was trying to show me that I could, this sounds really dumb, but I could avoid people or evade them. And because what I was doing, that's really weird. Like if you saw someone doing what I do, you'd probably be concerned. And obviously there's loads of Karens and stuff in the world. So somebody noticed me acting quote unquote suspiciously. Outside their property, I was picking up stones and moving them around, and I was being self-conscious with my limiting beliefs, so to speak. And so this person started kind of following me, and I didn't really know because the pendulum was like, okay, go this way. And I was like, okay, quick. And then, so I was kind of scooting around town with this person following me, and I was completely avoiding them, and the pendulum was showing me. And then I discovered that this person's following me to see what I'm doing, because they probably thought I was breaking into houses or something, but I was just being a weirdo. Basically doing feng shui, put this stone here, this stick over here, and they couldn't see me because everywhere the pendulum took me, I was out of their view when they were driving past, and they just couldn't find me. And what were they going to do when they found me anyway? But anyway. So if you... so Eagle Flower said, Gino, you're very generous with your time and knowledge. Oh, shucks. Thanks, Eagle Flower. That's not true. Well, I could just lean on it. I could just lean into it and say, this is me being generous with my time. You're so lucky to have me here for 2 hours. For a small fee, of course. I don't know. That really tickled me. That really tickled me, Comet. I think Comet has got an amazing sense of humor. I want to go to stand-up comedy with Comet. I'll tell you, the worst thing in the world is stand-up comedy, open mic in New Zealand. Have you seen Flight of the Conchords? Well, they're accidentally very funny. But generally, imagine that. But less funny. That's what we're all like here. Just not good. Not good. Okay, we're trying to get another card here. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. It's the old... it's the old Miasma's Curses Thought Forms Black Magic card. You'd only think there are 10 cards in this deck of cards. Is it a miasma? Anyone know what a miasma is? Oh, true story, I don't know. Let's find out. Let's have a look. I mean, I got an idea, but I just... Oh, miasma. I do those all the time. An unpleasant or unhealthy smell or vapor. Oh, God, we're not going down the chemtrail route again, are we? A miasma theory is an abandoned medical theory that held that diseases such as cholera, chlamydia, or the Black Death were caused by a miasma, a pollution. Okay. Pollution. Excuse me, guys. I decided to ban myself from pressing any mute buttons for this show, so you're just going to get all the miasmas. Bad air. Okay, is it really pollution again? Okay, is it... Is it a chemical in the exhaust of airplane petrol fuel thing? No. Okay. Well, in a way, thank goodness. I didn't want to be... I think that was like 2 weeks ago, and that was pretty... what's the word? Pretty painful, guys. Okay. So, is it literally a pollution? Okay. In the home. Okay, is it like Wi-Fi, 5G, that sort of thing? Does it come from a car? Does it come from cigarettes? Does it come from pesticides, insecticides? Does it come from industry? Farming? Huh. Night air. Is it like a radiation? I've got no idea. But it causes limiting belief. Self-defeating stuff. I wonder what that... is. We'll just sleep on it for about 20 minutes. That'll bring us to the top of the 9 minutes, that'll bring us to the top of the hour. Oh, I don't know. But I do know that what does pop up in these cards is that environmental pollutants, whether actual particles or frequencies, these cards always do like to point to. And that actually brings me back to the beginning of my pendulum adventures, when I'd go out and do weird things and put organites in forests and stuff like that. Was usually the explanation for it was to do with electromagnetic radiation, like 5G, satellite. Satellite's got something to do with it now. I'm surprised because the planet Earth just looks like, from a distance, like blooming a razor head or whatever, just like pins and needles, because of all the satellites going around that whole grid. But that's not what it is. But whatever you connect with and you do with your feng shui and your orgonite and your dowsing, and you're going out there and moving things around, and whatever it is on the benevolent side really has an issue with the malevolence of the environment. 5G, Wi-Fi, satellite signals, chemtrails, pollution, all the nasties, all that stuff is deemed very, very nasty and very, very dangerous. So all you hosts out there that, go on about the danger of those things, well, good on you, more power to you. I don't think it is a rabbit hole, and I don't think it is fear-mongering. We need reminding of that because our bodies adapt, and we don't want to adapt. We want to solve the problem. So we can hear those things and go, hey, I'm going to do something about it. Lots of things you can do. Orgonite being a big one. Don't know if you've checked out any cloud busters online. I should probably find a link to put on in the chat. Creating rain, manipulating rain with these cloud busting orgonites, clearing chemtrails and pushing air around. I don't know, it's a pretty cool party trick. I don't know, whether I believe that actually a directed orgonite that you make actually dissolves a pollutant in the atmosphere. I don't know about that. But I do also know that we don't really know much. And I think that's part of why they spray and muck around up in the atmosphere, because it corresponds with higher order thinking of the population. Absolutely. And I think they know that. And at a base level, if they put lots of crap up there, then that corresponds to them putting crap in our minds. Excuse me for one moment. I haven't been able to shake off that cough for over a week. Oh, it makes me wish I still smoked. Because it used to be, oh, well, you smoke. Well, you wouldn't have that cough if you stopped smoking. I'm still laughing. Yeah. So atmospheric manipulations. They don't. I don't think they fully know what they're doing, fully. But I think they obviously know a bit. China uses the pure essences of Tibet to fix up all their problems. Oh, we're getting really polluted in Beijing, right? Go and do some cloud seeding over Tibet and we'll just send some fresh air over here. But what we do know is that, say I look up to the sky and I see a chemtrail, that doesn't directly affect the region in which they're spraying. It could be literally like a chemtrail quote-unquote operation. Could mean something being affected in Samoa, Australia, Papua New Guinea, possibly beyond, Indonesia. Don't know. So the chemtrail you see above you doesn't necessarily relate to your weather, where you are. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Saved by the ad break, because I'm trying to figure out this miasma creating limiting beliefs, and we'll find out on the other side of the ad break. So stay tuned to Revolution.radio, Otherworld Connections with your host, Gino. Thanks for tuning in. I'm pressing mute. Welcome back to Otherworld Connections on Revolution.radio. Making sure I'm pressing all the right buttons. Oh. And looks like Pat Rabbit has entered the Revolution Radio chat room, sharing something that I'm particularly morbidly interested in. Roblox protecting PDF files? Dun dun dun. That looks terrible and intriguing at the same time. And there's a PDF file, if you know what I mean, in the neighborhood. Haven't seen him around. That just what a way to start the hour of Otherworld Connections. But I tell you, somebody, I think I've mentioned this story before, but it still rattles my cage. So in the summer of 2023, the new year of 2023, somebody tried to take a child off the street, and they tried to do it right behind my back. I was somewhere in the house and I heard a kid whining. And it's a very deep plot because the whining that I heard was very similar to the whining of children bickering, right? I've worked with children for 5 years. I'm one of 7 children. I've been around whining, happy or crying children all my life. But this kid was not screaming, none of that, nothing alarming. But this kid was kind of whining, like, no, sort of like, Dad, I don't want to go there. A little bit like that. But what was happening was a guy was trying to take her down to the river, I'm sorry to say. And she broke free from the assailant right where I buried an orgonite. How cool is that? By 2 totara trees that signify the entrance of the walkway to the river. Right across the road from my house. So the point of the story is the whining and the complaining that she was making was just like, it wasn't even enough for me to turn around, because I was like, I'm just going to mind my own business, okay? Because also, one of the good things about the area is kids do still play on the street. And being 2025 now, it's a really hard line. Well, I've changed my view on this, which I'll explain, but it's a bit hard being sort of like having an eye on other people's kids without you looking weird or you looking like you're disapproving of the parents. Does that make sense? The spiritual energy around children is so strong that it kind of it affects people differently. And for me, it affects me in a way that I think is good and in the right way. So if I want to see if, kids are all right, I just want to see kids are all right. That's it. It's not, I want to go and judge the parents on their parenting. That comes after. So yeah, basically this kid nearly got taken right by me. And I, probably 20, 30 meters from me. And yeah, and from that day, I decided if I ever hear anything about kids and my first thought is, oh, I better check on that, I'm going to check on that. And if there's parents there that want to have a problem with me about that, oh well, too bad. That's the price to pay. And I just want to interrupt that thought to say that we are saying a big thank you to Nighthawk. Comet is paying homage to Nighthawk and saying thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for setting up Revolution.radio. I am sorry I never knew Nighthawk or never got to meet him. I am a Johnny-come-lately. But my best wishes to everyone that knew Nighthawk. My best wishes to Nighthawk and Nighthawk's family. And he obviously made a huge impression on the lives of many people around this neck of the woods here. So, R.I.P. to Nighthawk. So, yeah. So when I see these things like is Roblox protecting PDF files, yeah, I'm curious. Another thing I've heard is people say, which I do, I'm starting to believe now, that did you know I was talking about PDF files in terms of like spiritual negative energy harvesting when I started on YouTube in 2019. I got a lifetime ban from YouTube. I don't know why anyone doesn't believe me. I thought it was really normal. I thought everyone was getting banned. But it turned out they were getting like shadow banned and stuff. But I got an email from YouTube saying, Dear Gino, you POS, you are not welcome on our platform ever again under any circumstances, it was like the strictest email you've ever seen. And so I didn't get shadow banned from YouTube. The secret kindergarten, when I was talking in regards to adults, like as a grown-ups thing, I got banned. I got completely banned from YouTube, and it kind of hurt my feelings. It was upsetting because I was like, man, I just can't do anything right. I don't know what. I just thought you go on YouTube and say whatever you want. And someone must have complained about me, and worse than that, it would have been someone at my work or someone in the truth community, which is even triple sad. So I got a lifetime ban from YouTube, and just about a year ago, I think I thought, well, let's just try. I wonder if they've forgotten me now, and I just had a new email address. And then I just set it back up again. So I just thought I'd share that while speaking of self-defeating behaviors. Now that I'm actually on YouTube and I can live stream, I'm just letting YouTube know that, hey, you guys banned me for life, but I'm kind of here. So, yeah, let's see what happens. And that was just over, talking about PDF files and, how that's kind of like what the dark occultists, those in charge, those running things, sure. I believe that is a thing and that they're into that because the true currency is we can spend on Earth as time and attention, and children are very much a spiritual currency, and based on books throughout history, and even like the disgusting book Marquis de Sade. 100 Days of Sodom or whatever the heck it is. Oh my God. I thoroughly do not recommend reading that book. But yeah, I mean, these people know that there's a spiritual aspect to engaging with children, and they decide to be absolutely profane and disgusting with that. So, yeah, I don't know the point of my story, but the point of my story is at that time that I just didn't turn around to see, but luckily the orgonite in my opinion kind of helped her to break free somehow. And then I saw him this summer, 2024, 2025 summer. So our summer is like through the new year, because of, I don't know, how the planet works. I'm not going down that road, and I'm not getting into that discussion. Absolutely not. Yeah. So when I go for a walk, now I've got my doggy, we go for a walk, and I just keep an eye out. There's certain areas around the river that the kids play, unattended, and I like that. And whatever it makes me look like, I don't care. I go down and have a little look, make sure everything's okay. And one day I saw Mr. PDF File Man. And boy, when you meet an evil person, you can feel it in your bones. And I didn't know what to do, so I said hello, and he completely mimicked everything about me and said hello back, in my tone, in my depth of voice, in my demeanor, to a point where it was like 1 millicent away from mockery. And a shiver ran down my spine, and I was like, well, obviously I'm not going to confront this guy, but I'm going to hang around. And I just hung around until he left. And I just thought, well, I hope I see him again. But I didn't know what to do. But there were kids playing down at the river, and he was literally like a fisherman there waiting to catch fish, except he didn't have a rod, and the fish he was trying to catch were literally children. He had a tattoo on his face, a very distinctive tattoo on his jawline, which the family who came to try and beat me up because they thought I might have had something to do with it because my house was next to where the crime was attempted. They told me he had a tattoo on his face. And he was a white guy too, so not so many white guys around here. So they put 2 and 2 together. And they came around to my house to have at it, and they explained what this guy looked like. And you know what? Shame on them, because they left their kid out. They had an argument with their 9-year-old. One of them had an argument with his 9-year-old daughter and let her just go off for the day in a grumpy mood. Oh, well, you go and do whatever you want. Go away. Not, and what I mean is, like, without friends, without a place to go. Okay, and a lot of the stuff I see here with the kids is it's groups of friends. Like, they meet up or they go out together, and maybe sometimes they're not allowed and they're cheeky and they just want to go for a play. But there's more than one of them at least. But this girl was left to her own devices for the whole day in an upset state. So that's really, really bad. And obviously I didn't judge them because they were still trying to find a way to beat me up on my own property. But the point of that story is that, the guy who did it had time to suss her out. He could have been following her around for a lot of the day. And that might explain her lack of fear and shock when he tried to take her up to the river. She might have spent half an hour with him already. She might got used to him rather than he jumped out of the bush and she's like, ah. And, shame on those guys because they didn't want to really drop their hostility with me, but I was trying to get, I was like, and I was serious. I'm like, I'm going to keep an eye out for this person now, like from now on. And what I meant by now is in for the rest of my days living here. Like, seriously, like, who wouldn't, right? I was so upset, especially that it happened outside my house. And they didn't tell me their name, where they lived, what their phone number was, nothing. They were just like, stuff this guy, and then they drove away. So, 1 year later, when I actually finally found the guy, There was nothing I could do. And New Zealand is, woke, guys. New Zealand is like, you tell the police and, I might get arrested for harassment. Yeah, I've got an eagle flower, I've got the heater on too. It's cranking. But yeah, so I found the guy, and if those guys were a bit more like chill with me, the family were a bit more chill with me, I could have gone straight to their house and told them, you need to come have a look at this. That's what I wanted to do, but I couldn't because I don't know their names, their numbers, who they are, where they are. So it wasn't very community minded. They just saw a white person near where the incident happened, and they were just hoping they could blame me. Like as if it was my nephew or son or brother or something. So, yeah, I mean, the point of that is, it's a bit over the top, isn't it, Eagle Flower? I just saw that I'm just waxing off, whatever I see that comes on the screen. Pat Rabbit's link that I'm definitely going to watch later on about Roblox predicting PDF files. But yeah, so now, all the way forward now to 2025 is that if you're talking about PDF files, that's a good thing now, suddenly. So if, if I wanted to be more successful, like online or something, I could turn this story that I'm telling into like videos and me going for a walk along the thing. What I'm saying is like getting lots of views, people that expose PDF files, like they arrange meetings with them and stuff and then go, you're caught, you're busted or whatever. Those are the kind of things that the algorithm likes right now in 2025. Why? I don't know. But talking about PDF files in 2019 got me a lifetime ban. Talking about the spiritual aspect of that. But yeah, Eagle Flower, it is quite a personal life story, and it really changed how I go about things, and I feel a slight sense of duty when I go for my walk along the river, that I know it's literally a hunting ground for at least one person. And on the flip side, it's just such a wonderful place for children to go and play. It's got a vibe, and the river isn't really that safe, but the children are protected there, I believe. They paddle around in the water, and there's literally toddlers. You think, where the heck is your mum? And they're like wading in the pool. Like they've got maybe an older brother or sister, but the older brother or sister's like 4. Maybe 6, 7 years old if you're lucky. But, on the other side of the coin, it's wonderful. And I helped people find their kids once. Their kids went missing, and I was like, oh my God, that is not good. This was after this whole experience that I've been talking about. So I knew where to go, because I know where the kids go, because I walk along that river. Julia and I and Ernie the dog, we walk along that river all the time, so we know where all the kids like to go, and they've got names for all the spots. And I was also surprised that the adults that lost their kids had no idea where their kids could be. And I was like, I bet you they're just over here, come with me. And they didn't like that I knew where they were. They didn't like that. And I felt like, and I was there not liking that they didn't know where their kids might be. They couldn't even look for their kids properly. If you've got to look for children, you've really got to look, guys. Kids like hiding. Kids like being out of the way when they're going on adventures. They don't need grown-ups for all that. And they'd probably rather not be seen. Or it's a game. Yeah, so that was disappointing. That was very... And then I also know when this And the moral of the story with all this is that there's not really any growing up sense of reward or gratitude from these kind of things. It's just once you get to missing children, it's a dark part of life and reality. And if you try to do the right thing in that space, you don't expect to get a thank you. You could probably expect to get an accusation. So yes, but nevertheless, it's about the kids. So back to this, limiting beliefs, self-defeating behaviors, okay? Color therapy, right? The color orange. Good to know, okay? So the next time you recognize something very orange, well, keep that in mind. And we've moved to miasmas. And during the break, I found this. And thank you. Oh, thank you, Eagle Flower, for posting the live stream again. You've taught me a lesson. There were 0 viewers, and now there are 3. And that's because you posted the link again. So, honestly, thank you very much. So, the miasma is a heavy metal pollutant found in our food that creates limiting beliefs. And that magical ingredient, that secret ingredient, is called mercury. And you know what? I've got mercury fillings in my mouth. And that is not good. All right, National Library of Medicine. The development of industry, the excessive use of chemical substances in agriculture, as well as the intensification of car traffic, in addition to the multiple benefits brought to humanity, continuously produce great ecological imbalances, sometimes reversible, sometimes irreversible, with a particular impact on the quality and safety of food resources, and the health of consumers. Heavy metals can originate from both natural and anthropological sources. Anthropological being metal mining, smelting, trash dumping, incineration, pesticides. So, guys, around here, so it's like, height of winter. People start their fires with their rubbish. So if you go out in twilight, when it's getting dark and people light their fires, it's like, it's like the smog of rubbish burning. It's unbelievable. It's embarrassing. I would say it's probably cleaner in the city these days. I would say that. It's probably less polluting and toxic in the city. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm not touching that mute button. Okay. So with the Industrial Revolution and economic globalization, the numerous environmental contaminants have significantly increased. These contaminants do not dissolve, and they accumulate in the environment. I've got mercury fillings. I don't want to go to the dentist. I really don't. In New Zealand, the most expensive thing you can do is go to the dentist. It's unreal. What's it like over in the USA? I think it's probably expensive too. The diverse and emerging food security issues have become a global concern. Traces of different heavy metals were found in food, vegetables, meat, fish, milk, etc. Due to their mobility and bioaccumulation in water sources, by whatever means heavy metals enter food and beverages. Once they enter the body, they are oxidized and form stable bonds to enzymes or protein molecules. This results in dysfunction. Yes. And in our case, the pendulum is showing us, the Dowsing card deck is showing us, it results in limiting beliefs and self-defeating, self-denial behaviors. All right. Let's just go. So we're focusing on Mercury. Foods that have Mercury. Let's go. What foods contain high levels of mercury? I think they're fish, right? I think mackerel or something like that. Yeah, tuna fish. Livestrong.com. I mean, I don't know about these websites, guys. I'm just winging it on Bing, Microsoft Bing, because the PDF reader, I don't have any trouble sharing that part of the screen on, my OBS. That's why. Oh, yeah. And Julia wrote in the chat, just going back to the PDF file thing, Julia said, by the way, you know the story I told you? The police never came to ask if we saw something. And it happened right outside our house. And Jerry says, good, Gino, thanks for the story. More people should be standing in real time to protect each other, children especially. Yes, I agree, and I love that river, and I love that the kids play there unattended, and you just have an eye out. Have an eye out, that's all. And not be afraid. Like, sometimes I don't... Part of the point of that story was, like, I kind of feel like I want to, but then I censor myself because I don't want to look like a PDF file. Do you know what I mean? But I'm throwing that away, and I'm just being me and doing what I think's right, and that's it. And whatever the consequences are, well, that's up to God to, hopefully help bail me out, as he's done many times in the past. But yes, like Julia said, the police never came to ask us if we saw anything. And in the paper, they published it as a woman, not a 9-year-old girl. It was a 9-year-old girl, but in the paper, they said a woman. So that tells me that this PDF file is known to them and they have a little bit of a handle on it. That's what I'm hoping. But I'm sharing that with you guys because I'd like to know what you think. If you have any experience with that dynamic, like, do you think they put just they called the child a woman to prevent hysteria? Or was it really like to prevent hysteria because they knew about everything that was going on, who it was, and, they had a duty to publish it, but they didn't want it to get too out of hand and blah, blah, blah. Because, does that make sense? Because if they didn't know the person, they needed to find it, then lying about it at the beginning, well, it could get worse, right? Or is that a thing too now? I know it possibly is. So was it a cover-up? Was it a cover-up because they didn't really need to expose it? Or was it a cover-up because they actually want to promote, they want to allow this chaos and suffering to continue? That makes sense. So 10 foods high. I'm switching between that and this miasma being the mercury in food. Okay, so let's have a look. And straight away, I'm telling you, AI wrote this. Look, it's not just for planets in retrograde. Mercury is a naturally occurring heavy metal that you want to avoid getting too much of. So that opening sentence, AI wrote it because they always start with I don't know what this device is called, but the opening sentence is, it's not just this. It's actually this other thing. AI does that for everything. So when you read an article or somebody posts something on Facebook and it starts with, this is not just this thing. This thing is actually some other thing too. That is AI. Guaranteed. So yeah, mercury is a neurotoxin. Okay. And we are looking at it as a neurotoxin that creates limiting beliefs, which is really like a correspondence, right? If it's like damaging your brain, then it's damaging your beliefs, because your beliefs come from your brain. Plain and simple. So anyway, let's go to, okay, tilefish, swordfish, shark, king. Oh, they're all fish. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. All right, fish. Let's go fruits. What fruits? Well, it should be saying which fruits, but I mean, if AI is going to just answer back, then... Oh, that's not good. Apples, pears, and grapes. Probably the 3 most common fruit on planet Earth. That is not good, guys. So let's have a look. What foods contain the most mercury? Mercury in other foods. Dairy products. Due to environmental pollution, milk, cheese, and butter contain varying amounts of mercury. Okay, well, I don't know what to say there. I don't think the answer is to stop. I don't know if the answer is to stop eating lots of certain foods because of mercury. We're going to find out, though. Mercury in grains, of course. Yay. Airborne pollution. Yay. Wheat, rye, barley, and oats. Yeah, I've heard that oats are pretty bad. I'm a grain person. I eat like 90% of my diet is literally grain. I do low-fat vegetarian, and I cry myself to sleep at night. I'm used to it now, but my blood pressure is finally good. My blood pressure is good. My health is good, and I now can go to boxing class twice a week, and I can still move the next day and the day after without ending up like feeling like I need to be in a wheelchair after one lesson. I still get beaten up twice a week by children, by teenagers. Oh my God. Mercury in fruits and vegetables. It's a naturally occurring element. Yeah, okay. So it's naturally occurring. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the increased mercury from environmental pollution. Thank you. Okay, it's a little bit of scaremongering. Okay, is there something we can do? Let's just we're just using the old Dowsaroo now. Okay, is there something we can do? Yes. Is it about stopping eating certain things? Okay, I would say probably, being careful of mackerel is probably pretty good. I mean, if you eat fish, there's lots of fish you can eat. So just maybe calm down with some of the, or buy the really good brands that let you know that they know. You know what I mean? Like dolphin-free sardines, mercury reduced. Get the low mercury version. Diet sardine. You guys know what I mean. But is there a supplement we can take? No. Is there something else that we can do? Yes. Is it to do with what we are eating? No. Oh no. 22 minutes left in the show, and we've opened up another Pandora's box. Is there a supplement that we can take? Should I play another card? No. Okay, how to prevent mercury absorption. Oh dear. This is the faux pas of all faux pas. Like, hi, can I get a psychic reading from you? Yeah, sure. What would you like to ask? Oh, this, that, and the other thing. Let me just check for you on Google. Steps you can take with mercury in your environment. From the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. Yeah. Mercury-free alternatives for compact fluorescent bulbs? No. Products that contain mercury. Guidelines for eating fish. Waste management. Consumer purchases. Sources of electricity. Learn from your utility or other electricity provider where the electricity powering your home comes from. If it comes from coal-burning power plants, you can check to see if your provider offers the option to have some or all that energy come from a different source, like natural gas, nuclear power, wind or solar. Mercury is found in many types of rock, including coal. When coal is burned at a power plant to produce electricity, mercury is released into the environment as air pollution. All right. So is this a case of air conditioning? Yeah. We've had this twice in 3 weeks, guys. Getting an air filtration. Excuse me. Yeah, cleaning the air. And yeah, if you magically have the power to just change how the power company sources their power for you, then have at it. Have at it. But there we go. Coal powered. We have water. Hydropower. That's what we have here in Taumarunui. Does hydropower create mercury? No. Okay. Coal. Yes. Okay, so is it just air conditioning? Okay, there we go. And yeah, the other one we had was naphthalene, didn't we? Which is found in cigarette smoke and in the new low carbon emission footprint petrol that they use for airplanes, aka chemtrail product. It contains naphthalene, and naphthalene affects our brains in that it stops us from connecting with our dharma, our higher calling, what we're supposed to do. It stops our brain from going in that direction, goal setting, just trying to go and do the right thing, which is, your thing, which will be the right thing because that's why we're here. And naphthalene wants to stop you from doing that. The mercury wants to stop you from believing in yourself and being positive. So these are all environmental issues, external issues that we can do something about. So yeah. So I don't know, the mercury thing, it just goes back to the air conditioning. And here's the thing. Eagle Flower made a comment. Gino, I just turned on the air conditioner to cool off before bed. And you are suited up for winter in a nice thick sweater. Yeah. Well, I hope you do cool off, Eagle Flower. And there was a little bit of a synchronicity there because air conditioning is the solution. And being more purification. And usually air conditioners do that, don't they? But that's what we want to be looking at. So yeah. Treat yourself to some nice purified air when and how you can for your environment, your bedroom, your living room, your house, and in your car when you're traveling. Good for your brain. Very overlooked. Underrated, underutilized strategy of just having lovely, beautiful, pure, clean air to help you think better of yourself, think higher of yourself, and live according to your purpose. And your purpose, your true purpose, is always going to be in line with natural law, and it's always going to be in line with freedom, and it's going to say goodbye to things like naughty governments and naughty police and stuff like that, because it's just not what we're here for. It's just not. Time for more cards. Same deck. Same topic. Okay. When I say D-E-C-K, does it sound like D-I-C-K, wherever you're from, with my horrendous accent? There's an ad about paint in New Zealand that plays on that. Painting your deck. And, yeah. I might have to just find it and put it in the... I'm going to do it right now. It's worth the wait, guys. Paint your deck ad funny. There we go. Got it. That's a little bit of a joke on the New Zealand accent there. New Zealand decking advert. It is actually quite funny. All right. I got two cards here. Cards that we see quite often again. Yeah, oh, look. So here we go. We got two. Morality, common sense, and deception, manipulation, and self-deception. All right, so is this a new topic? No, is it to do with self-defeating, limiting beliefs, so on and so forth? Yes. Okay, so we are deceiving ourselves. And it's related to a moral issue. Is it self-defense? Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I could do this without the cards, guys. Right. So there is a moral issue. I don't know if it's such a big problem over in the US of A, because you guys have Second Amendment and you have culture about sticking up for yourself, but in self-defeating Commonwealth countries such as New Zealand, they want us to be more on the side of the victim. You're starting to see that more possibly over in the States, where the perpetrator or the bully instigates something and the victim does something about it, and it becomes about the bully as the victim. Oh, what you have to understand is this person here is from a third world country, or this person here is from a bad family, or this person here grew up without a father, or this person here has been through trauma in their life. And I mean, you haven't been through any trauma. Who are you to punch that guy back in the face because they attacked you? He attacked you. That kind of thing. So this is a moral thing. We're not, I mean, easier said than done. But we're not doing the right thing if we are ending up in a self-defeating space. We're not doing the right thing for the universe. We're not doing the right thing for God. We're not doing the right thing for ourselves if we don't love ourselves and respect ourselves and promote ourselves and stick up for ourselves in situations where people are doing wrong against us. And unfortunately, some people are born into this dynamic and they don't know any better. And they're the people that now people say you should feel sorry for and let them do whatever they want. No. Nevertheless, it's tricky. It's tricky. Okay. Should I play another card? No, as a solution. What I'm thinking. Yes, it's self-defense, as in literally. Yeah, so here's the thing. The solution is, an external solution is literally to do martial arts. Hiya! Easier said than done. Nevertheless, there's lots of things that can constitute martial arts and self-defense. There's also just straight up self-defense classes, right? Me, now I do boxing. Obviously sport boxing, so there's gloves and it's about getting points and whatever. But it's self-promoting. I don't think it's necessarily martial art. I mean, I suppose it is. But I guess that's for another YouTube channel to make videos arguing about that. But yeah. Depends who you are and what you like the look of and where you live and who you know and who you might like or the class you might like the look of. I am one to say that taking action on this is the most important. So I don't think any martial art is exempt if it's something that inspires you to get up and do something about it. And that includes Tai Chi. Now, there's obviously Tai Chi for elderly people for mobility, and there's obviously no martial aspect. And also with Chinese martial arts, there is the challenge that, what you're learning may have been watered down or obfuscated or been edited, right? It might not be the full fat cream of what you maybe think that you're getting into, right? But nevertheless, I think the spirit of just choosing one and feeling like good about it and starting that journey is one of the best things you can do to work on self-defeating and limiting beliefs and those sorts of things. I think there's a psyop going on at the moment with this UFC, in the present day, with this UFC kind of stuff. That hides this morality and deceives us on this moral, spiritual aspect of believing in yourself and sticking up for yourself and being like really one of the pillars of, like the Freemasons know it, right? It's one of the two pillars to not take any SHIT. And the other pillar is to do no harm, sacred masculine, and then the sacred feminine. And then there's a sacred masculine, to take action on that, to protect that, and to demand that, and to promote that by defending yourself and others when wrongdoings are occurring. And the UFC obfuscates that because all the UFC fights, they create drama and beef. And you tell me, if you follow any of that stuff, who started it? You don't know. It doesn't matter who started it in the UFC, because you subscribe to the idea of we are in a beef. So whatever you do and whatever I do, it doesn't matter who went first, because we're in beef town. Everything's beef. And that's not how reality works, but more and more men are subscribing to that idea. So squashing a beef means whoever's the winner over nothing, then the loser has to accept and squash the beef. And that is spiritually incorrect. Does that make sense? So the point of my story is, the world we're living in, the UFC type people are gonna obviously ridicule things like Tai Chi, Aikido, Wing Chun, Kung Fu, all these sorts of things. Well, they may have a bit of a point, but there's more to self-defense than just choosing a particular style of fighting, right? And so that comes down to, the teacher. So self-defense classes are really good. Something that's more self-defense oriented, like Krav Maga, is probably really good. And you might find that people teaching Krav Maga in your area, you might find it's a bit more, funnily enough, like family oriented, because there's such a focus on self-defense. They're kind of anticipating people that don't want to be victimized by crime in their area or something like that, and there's a bit more of a community vibe to it, rather than like a sport fighting type thing. But yes, starting that journey, and going back to the Chinese martial arts, the argument now is that all Chinese martial arts are fake, kind of thing, because when they were used in, I don't know, some dynasty that humanity was mentally and spiritually and physically different, that the kind of fighting strategies that they used only were applicable to that time. That's the argument that people usually make, and that it doesn't translate well to here. And I would say that it's more of an occult thing. I think China 2025 continues to go out of their way to stamp out and destroy anything that could create skills in the people that could overthrow the government. That's why Tai Chi ended up sort of becoming what it became, and that's why Hong Kong became essentially the MMA capital of the world, from China kicking everybody out. So no more martial art in China, you go away now, and everybody ran to Hong Kong. And then on top of that, there is the Chinese culture. I guess I'm speaking of only Chinese stuff at the moment. I don't know so much about the rest, but in China there's obviously a culture, and these lineages of martial arts, kung fu, and so on and so forth were held in a high regard, and ceremoniously so, and all that sort of thing. And they were hidden. They were they kept a lot of the knowledge behind closed doors and didn't share it with people if they didn't think they were worthy. So they were very careful about who found out about things, because they were reverent about their martial arts. And I think martial arts today has suffered from that, in the sense that there was possibly not anyone worthy of learning it, and so the martial art either withered away or has been, the true essence of certain styles have kind of disappeared or are harder to find. Like, you couldn't just go down to your town centre and learn a particular authentic style of kung fu, because it hasn't spread, it hasn't spread that far. So that's a thing too. But I just think all those things shouldn't be something that stops you from being active and working on ways to defend yourself, to promote the opposite of a limiting belief, the opposite of self-defeating, self-promoting, believing in yourself and empowering yourself and feeling confident. And I think that's for everybody. And don't buy into UFC culture. If you like how they fight in UFC, then obviously go and do whatever you want to do. But this is a moral. What we're talking here is about morality. And it's a natural law principle, self-defense. It's masculine. It's something that's in all of us, and a right that we should be exercising to stick up for ourselves, promote ourselves, protect ourselves, and to flourish and thrive. And yeah, so it's worth it for me. It's boxing at the moment. It was Wing Chun, Kung Fu, and that's a whole nother story because we come up to 57. I wasn't very good at it, by the way, so I don't claim that. But I do believe that those Chinese martial arts were serious. Not many people know it, and not many people were qualified to teach it, but many people claim it, and that makes things look bad, as well as China stamping all that stuff out. But anyway, that's that for another day. So that was 2 hours of Otherworld Connections. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all, and really appreciate that you're around and listening and checking it out. And I wish you all well, so take care, much love, and look forward to seeing you at the next one. Stick around. You are listening to Revolution.Radio. Love you guys. Bye.